What's going on YouTube? Team SC back online here with another 3v3 video for you today. Today I am spawning as the blue Protoss. Decided to try out a different race for a little bit, taking a little break from Terran. I am playing with none other than Spec, the random player, spawning today as Terran. And we are divvied up with our buddy Brain Crusher, aka 2 base Mutalisk, spawning as the red Zerg on the other side of this map. Today we're up against a clan, the NUGT boys. We have the yellow Terran Clem here with his buddy Parmenian over here as the orange Protoss, and then finally the purple Protoss. And what is that? It's a Forge from the get-go, and I see purple on the minimap, and of course it's going for my base. So from the get-go, it's barely not even 45 seconds in, we do have a probe already scouting out, trying to see my base. Always probes early game I feel like are a little bit fishy, but I'm just kind of waiting for him to make the first move. Once he starts going to that dark area, I send a worker to follow him, and nonetheless, here comes the pylon. And this is kind of frustrating because my Protoss skills are not all that great, so I'm not the best at defending this early game harassment from the other Protoss. But as a rule of thumb, I do split up my workers. I have a couple going for each pylon. In situations like this, I think it's important to make sure you don't panic. He actually does cancel that pylon, and might even cancel this one too. But anyways, what I'm doing now is I'm splitting up my workers. I don't want to take all of them off mining because I still need to have some income, but I'm taking a couple off just to kind of wear down and grind down those pylons. So actually that probe is just chasing a rim around, and one more shot, and actually we do get the probe, and that is huge. Going to allow the workers to have some time to take this down. Cannon is about to die before it comes up, and he does actually cancel the cannon, but he did have another probe ninja'd back here and does throw down 2 more cannons. Going to be having these workers attacking them as well, but do still have a couple workers harvesting while these workers are fighting the aggression. And it does look like he's going to cancel that one too, and actually I think he's actually about to back out. So we actually did defend this cannon rush. He is going down here. I do send a probe to follow him just to make sure he's not trying to cannon again, and then I see him coming back, so I'm going to be following him around. Do manage to destroy these. Did go straight for his Zealot early game just to kind of help us defend this, and just going to be following that probe since he's been up to no good, and he does cancel that pylon. So from the get-go, we already had a early game shenanigans going on. So I forget how many, but I believe it's 4, maybe 5 or 6 workers. If you put them on a pylon, as soon as it starts, they will kill it before it finishes. And same for photon cannons, I believe. Actually, photon cannons might be left. I forgot. I need to look that up again. But the thing to take away from this is if you're getting cannon rush, because this happens a lot against Protoss. Seems like all Protoss in team games like to do is cannon rush and then go for sky toss, which is fairly cheesy. But for cannon rushes, you just have to remember not to panic and pull some workers off the line, but don't pull them all. And we do have some action going here on the other side of the map. Some Reapers going to be harassing these Zerglings. They do not yet have speed, and they just finished speed, so perfect. These Reapers do need to get out of there. They're going to be doing some fancy ledge hopping and actually do manage to make it home to safety. And once speed finishes, these Reapers aren't really going to do too much against the Zerg player. But anyways, let's talk about this map a little bit. This is Slaying Fields. It has 3 teams, or teams of 3, excuse me, and everyone's kind of separated. Everyone has one relatively easy to obtain natural expansion, except for the ally who spawns kind of on this side and also the opposite on this side of the map. They do have access to gold and destructible rocks and then an expansion here, but it's very hard to secure and easy for the enemy to attack, because right here you have 2 bases and then this big old box in the middle of the map where just big engagements happen, and then some random expansions off to the sides in the north and the south that no one usually gets to take, because it's kind of actually very hard to secure those in my experience playing on this map. But you have some Reapers coming here. Gonna try to be a little annoying and harass my base. Do have some Zealots here in position because we did see them coming in from the Zerglings, and these Reapers going to be fighting these Zealots. Zealots going to be chasing down the Reapers. Adept does come out in time, needs to go for the flank to get these Reapers out of here, and Photon Overcharge is going to be scaring these Reapers off. They're not going to do much here. And right now, just trying to macro up, getting a Robo Bay up, going to be getting an Observer because I don't want to lose to any shenanigans. Oh, and Ling run back, huge here. Brain Crusher actually getting the wall while it's down and running into the main base. No Marines or anything here to deal with this. This was the guy building all the Reapers. He's going to have to bring all those Reapers back home. But they do get intercepted by 2 Roaches from Brain Crusher. Very good play by Brain Crusher, doing some early game aggression. And this command center is actually on fire and burning down, and it did burn down. I completely missed that part. I'm sorry guys, but Brain Crusher doing some work over here did very good damage to deal with the command center, and is just destroying this Terran player who went for the early game Reapers. Boo is going to be sending his Mothership Core to help try to pick off these Zerglings to keep his teammate in the game, but Brain Crusher doing a fantastic job with these Zerglings, definitely getting some good harass, going to be burning all the supply depots, and at this point he needs to just run over there. He's done a good amount of damage, he needs to just save these Lings, but he decides to go ahead and just finish the depot, which is fine. He did enough damage. Those Lings paid their weight in gold, and now this Terran player is going to be forced to have to try to recover after this. Meanwhile, we do have the purple Protoss going for... I was just trying to check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Stargate, double Stargate after Cannon Rush. Don't you just love it, everybody? I know you've been on the other side of this, and half of you probably the ones who do this if you play Protoss. I know I'm guilty. I've done it a couple times as Protoss. It is fun, but I don't like to do it every game. And yep, we do have an Oracle coming out for Bilu. He is going to go for some more harassment. Did get one Void Ray out early to deal with these destructible rocks, which is pretty smart on him, considering he can do the charge for the Void Rays to do bonus damage to the destructible rocks. And he does have an expansion going up. We do have Parmenion going for Stalkers and Immortals, getting a second base going, probably going for a third here pretty soon. And Protoss looking pretty strong. Terran did get a little bit wrecked early on, but he is stabilizing and went straight to the goal. And we do have Oracle flying in. Nothing here to deal with this. Mothership Core actually out of position. And dropships from Spec trying to go drop his base. And me with the slow response time, losing 9, 10, 10 of my probes before that Mothership actually got there to do the Photon Overcharge. Definitely not my best play. I should have just pulled all my workers to run to get away from that Oracle. But that Oracle did do a good job dealing with all my stuff. Gonna have to play it smart and leave a Mothership close by, and should be warping in a Stalker at each base to deal with that Oracle. And double Oracle coming. I do have a Warp Prism drop going out, trying to drop Immortals at this guy because he has been irritating me from the start. Going for the Blink, Stalkers, and the Oracles. I mean, the Oracles and big drop here. Big drop from Spec, dropping the Cheeser, which is very satisfying from our part. And I'm coming in with a couple of Immortals from the back, just kind of help support this. Thinking about just shooting down the Nexus to take care of that. 3 Oracles from him are coming back, and Orange Protoss is coming to help him. Not enough bio here from Spec. He does need to pull up and get out of there while he can. Immortal still working on that Nexus, and I do need to pull these out of here. Warp Prism is going to get... Oh, they're not picking it out yet. I do need to morph that Warp Prism, but deciding to not play it smoothly, and actually should have just been focusing this Nexus from the start, and now we're going to lose the Immortal, and that Nexus survives with 263 HP. Bad play on my part. Very, very bad play. Had a chance to do some damage, but didn't fail. But here we do have another push. Brain Crusher with the Roaches does manage to come put some pressure on the gold base, making all the SCVs have to run away, and actually probably getting a good amount of kills because there's only 1 mule, 1 SCV left. A lot of action going on in these 3v3 games. Sorry, it's hard to highlight all the action spots at the same time. Oracle's here coming to help against the Roaches, but unfortunately it ran out of energy. And 1 Void Ray coming in. These Roaches also bid their weight in gold. Richard, Brain Crusher, actually doing a very good job this game, even getting the creep spreaded, getting closer to their base. Does have his second up and running, and potentially taking his third here pretty soon, switching into Hydrotech. Me, on the other hand, going up to my third base. Haven't done too much. Actually been playing very sloppy this game. Losing a lot to the Oracles. Did manage to defend the Cannon Rush, but not to the best, and also lost the Immortals. That Immortal drop was very expensive harassment investment, so definitely not my best play on this one, guys, but it's okay. I don't play Protoss, it's not my main race, and do have 2 Oracles whizzing by to my natural expansion. Response time is a lot better on this. Do manage to grab all my workers and have them run away to try to minimize losses. Do have the army coming back with the Stalkers. Not paying attention to his Oracle, is going to lose it to the Stalkers, but does save 1 Oracle. In the meanwhile, we do have some Hydras and Roaches here pushing at the third base of NUGT Bilbalo, but we do have the Orange Protoss coming to protect his ally, and he does have charge lots, so he's going to eat up this Zerg force. They need to get back to the creep so they can run away and outrun this army. But these charge lots are staying hard on their tail, and with that charge, are actually able to keep up with them on creep. Does need to kind of zone out. Does have the advantage on creep, but does not have nearly enough army to deal with this Orange Protoss threat yet. And he is going to be moving in, killing a couple creep tumors with the Observer. Meanwhile, Purple Protoss is going to be getting his third base up so he can switch into full-on Sky Toss, which is my least favorite armory composition ever, gentlemen. There's nothing fun about it. Like, oh, A move, Sky Toss. But that's why people do it. Anyways, we do have a push here from Spec and Brain Crusher. A lot of Hydras, a lot of bio. Spec trying to split up his bio a little bit. And we do have my forces coming in, 2 Immortals with a couple Stalkers and Observer coming in from the side to try to help deal with this army. And are trying to pick up the Void Race, single firing them one by one. Immortals dealing with everything on the ground along with the Adepts, and do actually manage to destroy this army, going to be pushing into the purple Protoss base, getting revenge for that Cannon Rush and Oracle cheese. Meanwhile, sorry guys, a little bit of a grudge match on this one. But anyways, going to be doing some damage to the Protoss, pushing in. Purple Protoss going to be running his probes away. Orange trying to rebuild some more army here, but they don't have too much at home to deal with this. Do manage to snipe out the gold base from the purple Protoss. Going to be pushing in, trying to get the second base as well. We do have another huge warp in from the orange Protoss, going to be warping in a massed amount of troops. And oh, good snipe on that pylon by Spec, actually stopping half of the warping in troops from actually coming out on time. Which is kind of annoying if you're Protoss. Got to make sure you warp your troops in close to nexuses and gateways, because the warp time is a lot shorter than just warping in on a pylon. Going to be pushing in, pushing to the orange Protoss base. Got a couple of Immortals here, which will make dealing with the pylon, overcharged pylons, a lot easier. Spec deciding to go straight for the purple Protoss. And we do have Clem leaving the game. Counterattack here by the Zerg, killing his gold base, causes him to leave. Purple Protoss does decide to leave as well. The GG from Richard, the preemptive GG, because there's these new emojis as of the last patch. If you didn't know, StarCraft has emojis now, ladies and gentlemen. I do have Orange Protoss going to be moving his Zealots in, taking a big chunk of these Stalkers out. Me just kind of holding position on the ramp, not paying the most attention, but sacrificing Stalkers so these Adepts can deal with the Zealots. The Adepts do plus damage to light if you don't know, so 24 versus light, 11 versus everything else, which, you know, was kind of okay. Should have been kind of doing a little bit of micro there to deal with them. I think I wasn't paying attention, I was macroing or something. I came back, I was like, where'd all my army go? So I decided to just pull out of there and re-macro up before attacking the Orange Protoss. Meanwhile, we do have Brain Crusher here finishing up this last Terran expansion and just waiting for Orange Protoss to decide what he wants to do. But he does have 3 mining bases. Is going to be doing huge warping here at the expansion, but his army is primarily Zealots. He needs to have a little something else in here to deal with the forces coming in, some kind of Splash Colossus or Templar or something, but does decide to engage the army, going to be straight shredding up this bio, going to be microing back the Stalkers, trying to minimize damage taken from the Zealots. And he does decide to pull back, going to be waiting for a second warp in of troops, getting a bunch of Adepts to help deal with these Zealots, and then going to be pushing out here in a second. Brain Crusher, on the other hand, has destroyed the orange Terran, yellow Terran, and Spec has destroyed the purple Protoss, going to be moving in, taking a pinch at this army. And at this time, we're just waiting for Parmenion. Parmenion is trying to fight back with his Immortals, kind of get a couple warp-ins, a couple of photon overcharges, but there's just too much here to stop it. Waiting for the GG. Going to be running in, and there it is. Alright guys, till next time, see you around.